Hello! The week seems to be about deadlines and timelines and an evenly balanced in-between like the home-baked takeaways from the just concluded OTC and the phantom recruitment announcement, some stock taking and flourishing from NNPC retail, while the stories about end-to-fuel importation and gas flare are where the deadlines and timelines are domiciled. Global Oil Outlook segment is become some people's favorite for some reasons that all of us know and should know. Thanks for keeping the faith. I'm Akin Agbejuli. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
Well, first of all, I'd like to use this opportunity to commend and congratulate my good friend and a citizen of my state too, Dr. Baru, the GMD of NNPC, for the great work he and members of his team are doing. And to say that under his leadership, there's no doubt that he has advanced the frontiers of transparency and innovation.
NNPC GMD acknowledged for advancing transparency and innovation, State Oil Corporation announces policies to end gas flare, talking about deadlines. Plus another deadline, 2019 end to fuel importation, Nigerian oil giant makes fresh commitment. Phantom recruitment announcement, NNPC does not know anything about it. NNPC Retail Limited is limitless. Retail stations have now grown by 14%. These are just the headlines. Wait for the details.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, says it is ever ready to support the petroleum tanker drivers, PTD, and the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, in whatever way to enhance the distribution of petroleum products across the country. NNPC Group Managing Director, Dr. Mekanti Baru, made this commitment at the 4th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of the PTD branch of NUPENG, which held in Abuja. Speaking on the theme of the conference, Road Infrastructure in Nigeria, Impact and Product Distribution, Dr. Baru disclosed that it was in line with the corporation's commitment to make life easy for PTD members, and it intervened in the rehabilitation of the Diko Junction to Suleja Depot in Niger State last year.
NNPC is working with the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, as he stated to you, for the rehabilitation of the Jeba Moko Road and the various sections that need an immediate intervention.
Also speaking at the conference, Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, said the federal government has prioritized the rehabilitation of roads that link ports and depots across the country in recognition of the union's contribution to national economic development.
That President Buhari understands your contributions to the national economy and is acting with his team to improve the ease with which you do business.
In his remarks earlier, National President of NUPENG, Comrade Williams Akborea, said he was very happy with the choice of conference theme by the leadership of PTD, adding that the issue of roads in the country needed an emergency approach.
In the light of this, we earnestly call on the federal government to declare a state of emergency on Nigeria roads so as to attract urgent and immediate attention, as no economy thrives without good roads and effective transportation system.
In his welcome address, the national chairman of PTD, Comrade Salimon, lauded the GMD for his commitment to the rehabilitation of downstream infrastructure across the country, adding that the conference was also an occasion for members of the union to elect new leaders to pilot the affairs of the union for the next 4 years.
The speaker of the team of this conference is a man who knows where it pinches when it comes to the twin issue of road infrastructure and petroleum product delivery.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, has described Bayelsa State as a trailblazer, saying the corporation would collaborate with the state through evaluating and ensuring that only viable projects are allowed in the various world-class facilities being developed there. Dr. Baru made this statement when State Governor Siriake Dixon visited the NNPC Pavilion at the just-ended 50th edition of the Offshore Technology Conference, OTC, in Houston, United States.
If you build an industrial park, you are building an area where investors will come and they have ready-made feedstock. If it's going to be a refinery, the plot is set for a refinery. If it's going to be a fertilizer plant, it's set for a fertilizer plant. The industrial park should have housing facility so that these equipment, however high-tech they are going to be operated by people.
Dr. Barrow said when the governor visited the OTC last year and subsequently paid NNPC a visit, they discussed Nigeria's potentials to compete with its global peers through endeavors at construction of industrial parks and all the associated infrastructure required to do that. Dr. Barrow further averred that an industrial park would have housing facilities, schools, sporting, entertainment facilities, as well as an airport which can host heavy-lift aircraft as well as wide-bodied ones. Speaking during the visit, Governor Dixon extolled Dr. Barrow, stating that he had advanced the cause of transparency and innovation in the Nigerian National Oil Company. Governor Dixon, who said he was impressed with the investment opportunities showcased by the NNPC at its stand, also expressed confidence that the corporation was now ready to play in the big league internationally.
We in Bayelsa have the dream of working with him and the NNPC and other players to make Bayelsa State to be the Houston of oil and gas in Nigeria and in Africa. Bayelsa is the headquarters of oil and gas in Nigeria and in Africa, and working with Dr. Barrow and his team and with the support of everyone else, Bayelsa surely will be the Houston of Nigeria and of Africa.
He thanked the GMD for leading the Nigerian community at the OTC, a gesture which he said had not only encouraged the Nigerian investors, but had equally underscored the importance of using technology to create jobs and attract investment into the country. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has disowned a recruitment advertisement currently trending in the social media. The advertisement, set in NNPC's corporate color with its logo, invites candidates with background in sciences, engineering, business, finance, social sciences, arts, humanities, as well as medical health sciences to apply, giving required educational attainment of prospects to include master's degree, bachelor's degree, higher national diploma HND, and national diploma. Describing the advertisement as phantom, the corporation called on unsuspecting members of the public to be wary of the scam. NNPC advised members of the public to disregard any announcement of recruitment or invitation to recruitment interview appearing in the social media, saying the corporation was not carrying out any recruitment exercise now. The corporation reminded job seekers to note the antics of scammers who deploy such communication strategies as text messages, vacancy announcements on social media platforms, as well as forged letters inviting job seekers for non-existing job interviews with a view to extorting money from them. NNPC cautioned that any applicant who entertained such invitations would have himself or herself to blame, encouraging those who had already fallen victims to volunteer information to the law enforcement agencies. The corporation stated that as an equal opportunities going concern, it would, as usual, advertise vacancies in the corporation through the national dailies. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. Mikanti Barrow, has announced a 3-point smart strategy aimed at ending gas flaring in the nation's oil and gas industry. Dr. Barrow made the announcement while delivering the lead paper on a panel session at the 50th Offshore Technology Conference, OTC, which ended recently in Houston, United States of America. Speaking on the theme Nigeria's gas flare commercialization, prospects and opportunities, Dr. Barrow explained that in the last decade, gas flaring in Nigeria had reduced significantly from 25% to 10%.
The Nigerian flare gas commercialization program is set out to achieve Two things. One, to eliminate the flares. Two, to monetize the gas.
The other two strategies, Barrow added, were a steady reduction of existing flares through a combination of targeted policy interventions in the gas master plan, as well as the reinvigoration of the flare penalty through the 2016 Nigeria Gas Flare Commercialization Program (NGFCP), and through legislation, that is, ban on gas flaring via the recent Flare Gas Prevention of Waste and Pollution Regulations 2018.
We have opportunities for investment of over $25 billion over the next 10 years, be it in gas pipeline infrastructure and development, or the development of the export processing zones, as well as pipeline milling and fabrication yards.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has expressed commitment to actualize the December 2019 target set by the federal government to end the importation of petroleum products into the country. Speaking as a special guest of honor at the just concluded Offshore Technology Conference OTC 2018 Nigeria Oil Industry Award dinner in Houston, Texas, United States, Group Managing Director of the corporation, Dr. Mekanti Baru, said measures had been taken to achieve the target. He explained that in terms of refining and production of local petroleum products, the ongoing arrangement with the original builders of the refineries to return them to at least 90% capacity utilization before the 2019 deadline was still intact. Baru noted that the long-cherished dream of transforming Nigeria from a net exporter of crude oil to a net exporter of petroleum products would, in the months ahead, transform into a reality.
In terms of refining and production of local petroleum products, we have faced the challenge head-on, and we are fully committed to the ministerial directive of ending the importation of petroleum products before the end of 2019.
He stated that tendering exercises for companies interested in the rehabilitation programs of the nation's 4 refineries using a contractor financing model had been completed, and successful companies for the different projects will soon be announced. Chairman of the association, Engineer Bank Anthony Okorafo, described the NNPC GMD as a strong pillar in the actualization of the federal government's local content dream.
So on behalf of PETAM board and all the PETAM members here, sir, we present the PETAM 2018 Executive of the Year Award and Appreciation Award of the NNPC to you, sir.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) said downstream subsidiary the NNPC Retail Limited now holds 14% of the market share of petroleum products retail business in Nigeria. Group Managing Director of the corporation, Dr. Mekanti Baru, made this disclosure at the 1st to 5th Annual General Meeting AGM of the NNPC Retail Limited, which held at the NNPC Towers. Dr. Barrow said despite being the market leader in the sector, the company was poised to establishing even ultra-large mega stations and was in the process of identifying the areas where such large mega stations would be economically viable. The NNPC helmsman explained that NNPC Retail would also continue to set up standard stations that would fit into the domains where they operate, disclosing that the focus of the management of NNPC as owners of the company was to ensure that its stations were in every nook and cranny of Nigeria. Dr. Barrow described the 1st to 5th Annual General Meeting of the NNPC Retail Limited as a landmark event, saying it was the first since the company was established.
This AGM combined all the 5 years accounts and got them audited, as no auditors, and submitted to the board of directors, who now recommended them to the shareholders. It's a watershed event. It also gave us a chance to review the performance of NNPC Retail Limited.
On his part, the chairman of the board of directors, who is also NNPC Chief Operating Officer, Gas and Power, Engineer Saidu Mohammed, expressed the commitment to work with the management and staff of the company to enhance its non-fuel business through the incorporation of fast food outlets, liquefied petroleum gas LPG, and supermarkets into some of NNPC filling stations that have adequate space.
So it was really a milestone in the sense that, well, there had never been an AGM. We are having the first one here, but we are having 5 in one at the same time.
In his opening remarks, the managing director of the company, Mr. Yemi Adetunji, said the impressive results were achieved largely through the support of the shareholders, among whom are the GMD of the NNPC, Dr. Baru, the chairman of the board of directors of the company, Engineer Mohammed, and partners of the dealers of the NNPC-owned stations and affiliates.
This is a very important milestone in the annals of the company, and we believe that this will be the beginning of very sound and profitable growth for the company.
NNPC Retail Limited operations commenced in August 2002 when the first retail outlet was commissioned in Lagos to market petroleum products to the public. NNPC entry into product retailing was initially a strategic move intended to provide the corporation with a vehicle for intervention in the market during periods of emergency and avoidable supply disruptions, serve as a benchmark for key players in the distribution chain, and ensure safe, orderly, and profitable retailing of products in the country, and is also a vehicle to achieve NNPC's world-class vision by integrating its upstream and downstream businesses in a manner comparable to other national and international oil companies' practices. The corporate headquarters chapter of Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASAN, has elected a new set of executive officers to pilot its affairs for the next 3 years. The election, which held at the NNPC Amphitheatre in Abuja, saw the entire set of the immediate past executive returned unopposed. The new officers include Comrade Benley Adewale, Chairman, Comrade Bulus Maman, Vice Chairman, Comrade Vincent Oji, General Secretary, and Comrade Ahmed Rabiu, Treasurer. Others are Comrade Andrew Wobo, Financial Secretary, Comrade Yakini Yamusa, Auditor, Comrade Sarata Albert Sogulis, Whip, and Comrade Cyril Lebo, Industrial Relations Public Relations Officer. Speaking after the election, Chairman of the Corporate Headquarters Branch of PENGASAN, Comrade Matthew Duru, charged the newly elected officers to work hard as a team with the NNPC management to sustain the industrial peace and harmony in the national oil company.
The new people that are coming, we encourage them to that they should learn and look at the branch chairman and the executive so that they can do better.
Hello and welcome to the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. Today, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC Feedback Review is in Lagos, the center of excellence, to gauge the pulse of how Lagosians feel about the services provided by the State Oil Corporation. In fact, we are at the first NNPC mega station in Falomo.
The liter is okay, it's perfectly okay, they have no problem. The only problem with liter tampering is private operators.
In fact, so far so good. The places are wonderful. For over years, this is where I've been buying my fuel because the meter is okay.
In fact, I have to drive like almost 15 minutes to get here to come and buy fuel here. From the first toll gate.
I like the liter for here.
What?
It's very good. The liters for NNPC, that is okay. I like them.
This station is uninterrupted. They said all the time that I need fuel, I will come here, I will buy. The liter is okay so far, and that's why I always like to come here and buy.
Whenever I'm passing through here, I always branch to buy fuel when I don't have enough in my vehicle. And as I said, they're well managed, and I like the way they respond to customers.
See, it's okay because whenever I come here, they attend us according to our turn by turn, you know. And their meters and other things are okay. It's okay. I find it okay.
From the responses, the NNPC is indeed a world-class oil and gas company driven by shared commitment to excellence. And that's all we have for you today. Please don't go away.
Hello, my name is Faith Ayuba, and it's good to have you join us once again on this segment. Did you know that the vision of the NNPC is to be a world-class oil and gas company driven by shared commitments to excellence? The mission of NNPC is to be an integrated oil and gas company engaged in adding value to the nation's hydrocarbon resources for the benefit of all Nigerians and other stakeholders. Did you know that the core values of the corporation entail respect for the individual, staff development, growth, transparency, accountability, and professional excellence? The corporation is transforming from the traditional oil and gas company into an integrated energy outfit with interest in power generation and transmission. Did you also know that the decision by the corporation to diversify into the power sector is hinged on the need to bridge the huge energy gap in the Nigerian market? Now you know. Please stay tuned for the rest of the program.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil price rose Thursday, heading for its largest weekly increase in a month as the market prepared for potential disruption to crude flows from major exporter Iran in the face of U.S. sanctions. Brent crude futures rose 27 cents to $77.48 per barrel, having gained 3.5% so far this week. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 45 cents at $71.59. Oil price is at its highest since late 2014 and on track for its fourth consecutive quarterly gain, the longest such stretch for more than 10 years. Analysts had little hope that opposition to the U.S. action would prevent sanctions from going ahead. Even without disruption to Iran's crude flows, the balance between supply and demand in the oil market has been tightening steadily, especially in Asia, with top exporter Saudi Arabia and number one producer Russia having led efforts since 2017 to cap output to prop up prices. Saudi Arabia is ready to offset any supply shortage, but it will not act alone to fill the gap, an OPEC source familiar with the kingdom's oil thinking said on Wednesday. The United States plans to impose new sanctions against Iran, which produces about 4% global oil supplies, after abandoning an agreement reached in late 2015 that curbed Tehran's nuclear activities in exchange for the removal of US and European sanctions.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has warned that a decision by President Donald Trump to abandon the Iran nuclear deal will harm the global economy. OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Bakindo said that any factor that prevents the smooth running of the oil industry will not be in the interest of the global economy. Bakindo said that price hikes were being driven by volatility that occasionally returns to the market due to geopolitical tensions. He said that OPEC will continue to seek a balanced oil market. OPEC and its allies agreed to slash outputs in late 2016. A response to oversupply and oil price crash, the agreement has been extended until the end of 2018. The Secretary General said it had taken 4 long years for OPEC to get to where it is today, with prices hovering around $70. Bakindo said that the organization was committed to seeing the agreement through, but he hinted that market conditions could spur a change.
And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Solomon Eopave.
There's no way our gathering here will be complete without the presence of the Group Managing Director of NNPC. Somebody I call a bridge builder. Somebody who have in his mind to repair all our abandoned assets.
That's been our package this week. That's been Oil and Gas Forum. Thanks for joining us. Let's do this same time, same station again next week. Enjoy your weekend.
The report where they reach us talk say some.
You don't do. I don't tire for all the things where you dey yarn.
Some people blood don dey rise.
You dey yarn no pata. Shey you think say na only you fit buga? I go show you.
This matter don't pass, be careful.
You dey show yourself all these years, I just dey look you. This time, you go know the kind of person we are.
I been dey watch as you dey try scatter my future.
The future wey I dey try
Organize for myself.
small. Na him you dey try kill abi?
Na to kill, scatter, and destroy my pearls always dey your agenda, abi? Oh, but you know fit oh, not this time.
I don't set my own agenda.
I know how way your agenda go fit pass my agenda.
Because my agenda strong pass your agenda.
For this election, the agenda now.
It's our future.
No violence.
Just vote.
Set the agenda for this election. No violence, just vote.
NTA Language.
Jama'a masu kallon labaran NTA Hausa barkanmu da warhaka. Ni ne.
Ekukale lo da yin wise ku dai ya.
Igbo murum kachano.
Broadcasted in the language you understand better. Our programs. Transmitting on the Star Times platform 24 hours.
Àwọn onímọ̀ nípa ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.